It's crazy. I just got on this bike this morning, about 11 o'clock. And this is what I'm doing with it at 6 o'clock. Yes. Uncomfortable. Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Moto, and you join me inside of a cloud at 14,000 feet on the top of Pikes Peak Mountain with this, the 2026 BMW R1300GS Adventure, the GSA. I will be leaving 14,000 feet here to head down the mountain and all the way out to California. We're going to be riding this bike over 1,000 miles over the next, technically, 1.5 days. It's almost noon already here on Thursday, and I aim to be home by the end of the day Friday, ideally before bedtime, before Eve gets put down to sleep. So I have this bike loaded up, ready to go, and we are going to go use this GS as it's fully intended. We are going to have an adventure. Now, admittedly, I would love to spend an entire week roaming up and down the Rocky Mountains here in western Colorado with this bike, doing dirt roads and twisty mountain roads, but unfortunately, we just don't have the time for that. So instead, we'll be putting this 1300cc Boxer Twin through its paces using all 140 horsepower to have some fun here today, to do some spirited riding here in the mountains, but then to cruise across the desert as temperatures will be exceeding 110 degrees Fahrenheit as I make my way back towards sea level. Now it is currently 51 degrees Fahrenheit right here, so my hands are chilly. My body is cooling down nicely for our descent back down the summit. Now I could spend half an hour walking around this bike and showing you all sorts of the nifty features on it, but that's what more of a full review is for, and I do have a full review on the R1300GS, the non-adventure model. And when I had that bike back at DMHQ, I said at the end of the review, what I really need to do is spend more time with this bike, do more riding, experience it for a longer period of time, because there is just so much engineering, so much thought, and so much tech on this bike that it really does need to be fully thought out. But let me just do a quick overview for you to show you how we're packed up here. I got this case, a little bit more empty and flexible, my daytime shoes and some snacks and other equipment that we've got room to fill up. This one is entirely packed to the brim with my clothing backpack. I don't even want to open it right now because it's a bit of a pain to get back closed. What else? I've got my Revit gloves. We'll talk more about those as we're rolling. I got the bike on the center stand right now because the bike does this cool thing with its adaptive suspension that raises up and down, where when you start to put the center stand down, it actually lifts the rear and then lifts the front. Let me show you here real quick, this demo from brand ambassador Sean.
This bike has the adaptive, right? So
yep.
The suspension raises and lowers, and that same suspension can be used to help center stand the bike. So what you do is, it's got to be powered on, like it is now. Put the center stand down, and the rear of the bike will lift, and then the front of the bike will lift.
Oh.
So you go down like that, so the rear comes up, and then the front will pop up also, and then it's much easier to put on a center stand.
Very nice. Other than that, with the Adventure, we are getting a larger fuel tank, which is going to be great because I do intend to be running some higher speeds across the desert, and there's going to be times that I don't want to stop. I just want to keep rolling, and I'm going to appreciate being able to go higher speeds and still do well over 200 miles on a tank with nearly 7 gallons of fuel capacity. Not only that, but we're going to be rolling through some rural areas, remote areas, where fuel stations might be 50 miles apart. So in order to be a little safer, it'll be good to have some extra space as well. Not only that, but the bike gets a good bit wider with the fuel tanks, which means if it rains, which as you can see, clouds are moving over us right now, it's very, very likely we will get rained on. Look at how much coverage I have here. I'm going to be protected from here and up there from rain. So there's a good chance as long as I'm moving, I'm not actually going to get too wet. And on top of that, the extra width from the fuel tank, the different kind of way it holds its weight, makes the GSA that much more stable and comfortable to cruise around on than the standard GS. And it was cool, I actually rode a normal GS down here from Denver this morning, so I'm going to get a little bit of comparison throughout this ride. We've got these extra pegs as well, which are going to be nice for putting my feet up along the long mileage stretches. So we're just about ready to roll. The one thing I do need to do is I have this large Moto Razor Fold here, and it doesn't fit safely and snugly here in this wireless charger that Motorola has, or that BMW has. So I'm going to see if I close my phone, can I get this to snugly fit? If not, we might not be able to use this apparatus. I think we're going to have to use our spare phone, which actually, I don't know if my Mini will fit in there either. Let's see. Fortunately, we can tuck this right in there. I will have to get in to the backpack container. Oh, you can see this backpack actually has a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and it just barely fits stuffed in here flexibly in the side case of the GSA. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Took a little bit of setup, but we have our iPhone getting wireless charge stand right in front of us here for our navigation. We are ready to head out. Now this is the automatic shift assist R1300 as well, which means in order to put it in gear, I grab the brake, put my foot down, and we are rolling. Now this ride up and down Pikes Peak is pretty darn cool. And if you want to see it uninterrupted, I actually filmed it with a no talking, no cut sequence here for the Winding Road Magazine channel. I'll link that down below. You can go on any time. I mean, today's Thursday. We went up at 11 a.m. and we were caught behind traffic for most of it. So not like you're going to be buzzing up here as though you were doing the Pikes Peak race. But either way, I mean, there's so much to see. And it's such a twisty, curvy, fun road that I highly recommend it if you're in the area. Experience it in some sort of vehicle. But this has been a great bike to do it on. And we were actually out here yesterday in this car up in front of us. It's the Mini JCW convertible. So if you want to see it driven in a car, you can find that over on Daily Motor. But yeah, as you can see, even coming down, not really going to get the chance to zoom this bike around too much. So just enjoy the views. It is pretty remarkable what 14,000 feet does to your oxygen. So you'll notice a few cuts in the beginning of this video, and that's mostly just because I had to catch my breath. Even here, riding with the wind coming at me, you're dealing with a significant lower oxygen percentage at this elevation. This is the ASA, Automatic Shift Assist bike, which means I can press this button right here, and now I am in D for drive. And the bike will just simply shift itself. Now I might end up getting back into manual mode for when we're going back downhill in order to keep a little bit of pressure off the brakes. But automatic is fantastic for most riding, it really is. And I also really appreciate that when BMW does do an ASA bike, they still give you a foot shifter here. And aside from not having a clutch, it feels just like riding a normal manual motorcycle. It really works well. So we'll see that more as we're buzzing through the foothills and the mountains. But a lot of my riding I'm just going to do in automatic. And we are actually getting some clear road here, so I'll take this opportunity to dial up into Dynamic Pro, and we can feel the automatic shifting getting more aggressive for us then. We'll try it in auto here and see how the bike does. Dynamic Pro changing how the suspension is going to feel for us, changing engine dynamics, braking, and of course the shifting. Well, it wasn't too long before we caught a minivan, was it? With these pretty dramatic cliffs though, I don't even really think I need to be going that quick. I think I'm probably fine with a little bit more of a comfortable low speed here. Now this video sure would go on a while if I kept the camera running and I kept chatting at you for the entirety of the 1,000+ miles on our trip back to the west. So we'll be cutting in and out here, talking about what the bike is like for this entire portion. But the goal today is to make it to Durango, which if we straight shotted it, I think would take us maybe 6 hours or so from here on the top of Pikes Peak. But I'm going to try to do some direct cutting through some of the mountain ranges, see some more scenicness. And I do think there's even a section of road that I've picked out very loosely on the map here that should have us in some dirt sections. Considering how much riding I have in front of me, I'm not really looking to do any super hardcore dirt riding with the GSA here, but it seems like it would be a crime not to at least put it a little bit through its paces. I mean, we have the machine. Why not get to see something a little more unique? It seems like as good a time as ever to cut. So, onward down the hill. Took a brief stop here along US 50, along the Arkansas River headlands, and it has started raining on us again. Rained on us a little bit earlier, that's why I had to stop the time lapse, because technically I'm missing a cover for my camera here in order to keep it watertight, but I think I've jerry-rigged a bit of a solution, so fingers crossed. If you guys miss a lot of the rest of the video, then that may be because my camera stopped working. Alright, bring her back to life. I really don't mind getting wet. It's going to keep me cool. Bike was reading 86 degrees Fahrenheit when we got here. But we will utilize rain mode. Keep the bike underneath us. Right, there we are. This looks like it should be a really beautiful section of road that we're coming into here. You can already tell with the way that the gorge is laid out there. Pretty much any road that tracks a river is going to be pretty nice. Another advantage, as I said at the beginning of the video, of the width of the adventure version of the R1300GS is once you're rolling, it does block quite a bit of wind. And subsequently the rain. However, I am still getting quite a bit up onto my windshield, my helmet shield. So, I am bold, potentially stupid, and I want to really test out the GS in the GS Adventure. So, we are heading to Cinnamon Pass, just here south of Lake City. Trails Off-Road considers it to be a moderate trail, 3 out of 10. I think Onyx also said 3 out of 10. I think that's probably about where my upper comfortability limit is off-roading this motorcycle, 3 out of 10. It's also a little late in the day. It's 4:45. Don't believe that 3. This clock is off by an hour and I haven't changed it yet. So I don't know if this is a bad idea or not, but we did not come all this way simply to ride street. We're gonna have enough of that tomorrow. So I figure let's try it out, and if it's not looking good, then I will turn around and find another way. But we're all the way here. Seems like it'd be a shame not to try it. Now, I haven't taken an automatic shift assistant GS off-road, so I don't know how I'm gonna do without having the clutch. That's gonna be interesting. Theoretically, altitude would be a little bit of an issue if I weren't already kind of acclimated to these higher altitudes over the last few days. Done Pikes Peak twice, been staying in Denver, so I do think this gets pretty high up there, but hopefully it should be okay. Deep breaths. High bear activity. Great. That's not even something that I had considered to be on the lookout for. Mostly just worried about high motorcycle height and weight. Fortunately, I have used up 1 or 2 gallons of fuel, so should be dropped down a little bit from the 500+ pound weight on this bike. Here we go. Here's some Jeeps heading out to the trail, so they'll be able to save me. Going on the dirt. Wish me luck. Hopefully you all end up seeing this footage. But if you don't, that will mean I did not make it. We also are running at full tire pressure. Now, if things do get pretty dicey, I could drop some air out, help with traction, but you know, when you got an extra, 700 or 800 miles to do tomorrow, then don't feel like airing back up. Oh man, that really looks like there's some rain, some dark cloud. Alpine loop, here we go. So a lot of this will just be me concentrating and thinking and taking in the beauty of this high altitude loop. But so far, we're a few miles in and it's mostly just dirt road. So I'm an Enduro Pro right now, and I'm really making up some time, if you will, because my biggest thing is I'd rather get to Durango before nightfall. If I don't make it there before nightfall, it's not the end of the world, but I would like to at least be on asphalt by nightfall. So I'm taking advantage of the fantastic suspension on this motorcycle and the off-road stability to make up some time. And I've been doing some higher speeds throughout the day, so I'm kind of almost numb to going fast on this bike, but I look down and I see myself doing well over 60 miles per hour, and it's pretty impressive. Temperature's dropping as well. We're down to 72. It's one of the cool things about off-roading on a motorcycle, or really riding a motorcycle in general, is you feel those temperature changes on your body. Standing here on the GS, I am 5'10", 165 pounds, and a 32-inch inseam, and I do still have a little bit of bend in my arms when I'm standing here, so it's nice. Handlebars are a good height. They've been comfortable all day so far today, and they're comfortable here standing. Now, the pegs are a little narrow. I would maybe like them to go out just a little bit further. Holy cow. Don't look down, Charlie. That is terrifying. Anyway. Now, the Adventure GS does come with a wider fuel tank. Much larger, just over 7 gallons. But it is wider as well, and you do kind of notice that when you're standing, that I guess when you're just standing straight up you don't really notice it, but once you kind of lean forward you feel it. There's definitely some fresh water there. You know, if I were out here all night, I'd be worried about bears. I see a vehicle coming. It's a side-by-side. I'm gonna pull over. How's the trail that way?
good for a good while.
Think I can make it all the way across?
Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
I was just worried that maybe it was raining all slick or something.
It was raining on the other side, but it's dry all the way up and over.
Okay.
Going down to Fort Silton is where I got a little rain down there.
Okay, but
We'll be fine down there.
cool. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Take care.
Take care.
Well, that's encouraging. A man with a mustache just told me I'll be fine, so my confidence is boosted. And that's when you got to really be careful, because when you get overconfident, it's when mistakes happen. Yep, definitely coming down. All right, well, we need to hope that the old man with the mustache was correct, and also that things didn't just dramatically change since he came through. It is getting rocky, that is for sure. Ugh. The GS's steering dampening really takes it up nice, though. You really don't feel it funneled into your bars too dramatically. Oh boy, what is this? A next stage? Entering remote area, pee, no restrooms. Bro, the world is my restroom. Ooh, okay, we're riding through it. Boots are gonna be getting a little muddy. Sunshine, that's encouraging. Oh, and a gate, discouraging. All right, GS, it's you and me. Let's do it. Ooh, big water. Now, a big thing for me getting through all this is just going to be riding with confidence. So much of off-roading is not chickening out when you come to something and just, you know, kind of have a game plan, try to have a route and a line and everything, but also just, then once you get to it, you got to keep a little momentum going. Like right here, I got to just kind of, all right, I'm going to keep my weight sort of balanced and ride through. It's when you sort of half come to a stop, start overthinking, you tip the bike over. Almost a little bit of a bummer. I got to be paying attention so closely to the trail because it's less time that I can take in some of these beautiful views. In fact, maybe once we get to the top, I'll take a little break. Oh, you'll be fine all the way through. It's all dry. Yeah. Fortunately, none of these systems look too large, he said with foreshadowing. It is so remarkable, and I'm sure I'll be saying this at the end of my full ride as well, but there are so few machines that can do the bandwidth that this bike can. On the big open stretches of road here in rural Colorado, I've been going triple digits. I mean, I've been running this bike hard. I've been zipping and zooming. So how many other machines can you comfortably do those type of speeds and then come out and do something like this? All the while getting fantastic fuel economy. It's really pretty cool. Is that a Chevrolet Traverse? Traverse, right? Oh my, what are you doing out here, buddy? That better be a rental. I don't think it is. Well, again, that gives me a bit of confidence. Ooh, that is a big one. Where are we at here? Oh, it's a stream. Look at that. Wow. All right, we got to get a photo. As you can see, these are very streety tires. So again, something to be aware of as we're doing this sort of thing. Man, oh yeah. That's a lot of weight to pull off that side stand. I think I see the littlest bit of snow up on top of one of those mountains, which is awesome considering it's end of July right now. Also, I heard they didn't get nearly as much snow down this way over this last winter as they usually do. When you're running in Enduro Pro mode, the I gotta concentrate for a second. The adaptive height suspension stays down in its lowest mode, which I guess would be the case when we were going slower anyway, unless you had it locked into high mode. So theoretically, we got about an inch less ground clearance. We have another sign. Is that a camping area? How cool. Okay, let's do a quick. All right, here we go. I think this is where we start to really pick up some elevation. So we've made it this far. Oh yeah, big rocks, big rocks. Use that weight, go right over them. Yeah, if we get too much of that wetness in the grooves like that, I'm gonna have a lot of issue both going as well as stopping if we gotta come down in any of that kind of mud. I'd really rather not turn around from here either. I mean, I would do it if I have to, but I'm gonna push it quite a ways before that point. And the tractoring of this engine, though, is really coming in hand nicely here. Just being able to go so slow. And I don't have to feather a clutch, which is kind of cool. Okay. We're gonna just go right up this. Prayers for the street tires, folks. Prayers for the street tires. I'm actually going to go up here. Turn the bike. Come back. Slight bit of momentum. Right up that line there. You know, some people might be frustrated by this. I don't know why, but I really like not having to worry about a clutch for this type of stuff. This is great. I was worried it was going to be a hindrance, but this is actually working out very nicely. A beautiful grass meadow here. I'm gonna take a quick opportunity to stop. Look at the view. Wow. You hear just the slightest bit of the river right there. I'll be quiet for a second and listen. And then, of course, an airplane comes by. Sweet. All right. Let's continue. This is a little rutted out here with a bit of elevation, a bit of climb. Let's get that momentum going, make it happen. Woo! Oh boy. I think we're getting up near a pass. Is that snow? Am I going to be able to touch snow? That would be awesome. That's a little bit of a hike, isn't it? I don't really feel like walking all that way right now, but very cool. I think this is it. I think this is the high point. Wow. Oh boy, all right. Cinnamon Pass, 12,600 feet. Now we go down. And I'm gonna be fully honest, it's down that I'm more worried about than up. Going up, you know, if you don't like your line or something, or you need a quick sec to evaluate, you just stop. You stop and put your feet down. Coming down, we've got 500 some pounds of bike that I need to just, here we go. Whew. Now that would have been tough to go up as well. All right. Gosh, this bike though, with the weight and the steering, it's so it's predictable. It doesn't get thrown off the way you're used to a little dirt bike or dual sport, something that weighs 280 pounds. You're used to it just getting tossed around by every little rock and bump. This bike is not like that. You kind of point it where you want to go, and it keeps going. Wow, look at this. The sun has come out just in time to illuminate this gorgeous green Alpine Valley, 12,000 feet. It's crazy. I just got on this bike this morning, about 11 o'clock. And this is what I'm doing with it at 6 o'clock. All right. I think this is where I want to go. Engineer. So that's Engineer Pass. Okay. Whew. And then Cinnamon Pass. Okay. I'm going to go up and over some of these bigger rocks. Yeah. Man, this bike is a beast. Oh boy. All right. Keep going, keep going. I almost stopped right there, and that's what I was saying earlier in the video. You can't stop. You gotta just, all right, ride the bike through. Whew. What a machine. What a trail. But oh, what a machine. And I seem to have tweaked my knee a little bit. That's unfortunate. Those big old cases, a bump it coming off. Huh. That is so cool. That really is. And we've got this thing properly muddy now, so people know I've been using it. And let that be a little reminder, and not quite lesson, but just reminder to you. Don't be scared. Be considerate. Think about your options. You know, I knew that if things got bad, I would have to turn around, and likely my plans for tomorrow would be affected. But you got to weigh your pros and cons. And I mean, look at this. This is I would not have had this experience had I played the safe route. So just consider that in your life planning, that life is short. And I know that's cliche, but we're put on this planet to experience the earth. And this is it. This is experiencing it. There's plenty of ways to do it. But don't shy away from opportunities that present themselves to you just because there's a risk involved. Hi dear, I hope you don't mind if I... Oh, yeah, parking brake releases. Hope you don't mind if I check my map here. Are you interested in a boxer? No. Did you want to go get some water? Is that what you were doing? Go ahead. All right, well, you got to pick one, dear, because I'm coming by. Come on. There you go. Of course, sniffing at somebody's trash. This seems like as good a time as any to give a shout out to our gear. Quick gear check. We are running my full suite of Revit ADV gear. Or really not quite ADV. It's more, you know, isn't it kind of funny? You say ADV versus adventure and it kind of means two different things, doesn't it? This is the adventure gear that I would say. Kind of daily riding, light adventure gear. We've got the Ortez jeans, the boundless boots, the off-track jacket, and the dirt gloves. I guess it's a little bit more of an on-street sort of setup. Admittedly, I don't love being out here on this type of bike with these kind of lighter ankle support boots. However, the R1300GS does have these big old side things on protecting the engine, so I doubt the bike would fall on my ankle. But either way, you gotta be careful off-road with boots like this. Other than that though, the gear has been proving me well throughout the trip today. Now tomorrow is where I'm concerned. This is denim. There are pads in here. The jacket does have vents that I've had opened up all today, and the warmest it's gotten is 90. Tomorrow I should be seeing temps above 110. So that's not great. But you know, we'll see how it does. I'm gonna wet some t-shirts and go for it. We're also wearing my Arai Contour X, and I've really been looking forward to this trip with this helmet because it's gonna be a big test of its all-day comfort and the rideability in all these different weather situations. Sir, you are in a Civic. What are you doing up here? I've had just about all of the vents open through most of today on the Contour X, so again, that's going to be something that we're taking advantage of tomorrow as well. But the helmet is great at higher speeds, and yes, this bike has a big windscreen, but sometimes I've actually been dropping the windscreen and just letting the kind of fresh air come over me, keep me cooler, and the Contour X does a great job at the noise. I've been comfortable all day. I've been wearing this helmet since I think about 9 a.m. and it's 6:30 right now. I also have the Helite H-Move backpack on for airbag protection. And I removed the actual backpack portion, and I'm just wearing the airbag portion, which is kind of nifty that you can do. I put the backpack portion in the side case here, but that has been running all day for me. In fact, I'm gonna have to turn it on here soon once we get to hardpack. And that's my build out for this trip. So far, so good, but I'll report one more time at the end, kind of how this gear has been held up on the longer day. Silverton, Colorado. These little Colorado towns are so cool to me. At first I thought this would be a time-lapse sort of section of the trip, but despite there being sunshine and rainbows literally behind us, we are coming into what seems to be a storm because I saw a flash of lightning. Oh, well, I do see some sunshine that way, but anyway, I thought it would be best to toss on the cam, especially since we are utilizing some of the R1300's heated elements at this point. Got the heated seat on one, the heated grips on one, closed up a few of the vents on my jacket. I don't think I'm going to have to do too much more. I can't imagine it's going to get that much colder. Seems like we are going down in elevation from here, but we'll see. I thought the rain would miss my helmet more than it has. I'm still getting a decent bit of rain onto my face shield, and I thought that doing 55 miles per hour or so here it would kind of go up and over us, but it must just be the rain that's just kind of falling straight down. Maybe it would be worse without the windshield. I'm sure it would be. I have scoped out what promises to be a cute little motel on the way between Cortez and Durango here. I was going to stop in Durango, but still a little bit of sunlight fading, and the hotels were all very expensive in Durango, where as soon as you got out of town, they dropped dramatically. So, considering there was no real reason for me to be in Durango other than name recognition, and that's just about where my day was wrapping up, figured we could go a little further here and save some money, put a little bit more time under our belt. So, fantastic ride. Thank you all for getting through day one. Tomorrow's not going to be as fun. Tomorrow is going to be interesting. It's going to be amusing, but it's going to be hot. It's going to be boring for many stretches. And then pretty much once we get into California, it'll be all highway that I've already done. In fact, I've driven it in the last few months. So it's just going to be more about getting home tomorrow. But for today, this is an excellent cap on a fantastic day of riding on a fantastic motorcycle. Good morning. You joined me just over an hour into day 2. I was thinking about getting some breakfast here this morning, and then you know what? Just decided, let's get a few hours under my belt, and then we'll take that opportunity to stop, get some food, and stretch a little bit. So, we are into Utah. Just topped off the tank, ran it down to just under 20 miles remaining. So put in over 7 gallons into this tank. I love having a big gas tank like that. It's just so nice that all my riding yesterday, and I left with a topped off tank in the morning, and then after that, only got gas one time. It's pretty cool. Something really cool to me about traveling across the country is how distinctly different each state is. Like, it's almost, you know, they're so specific in their borders that they really nailed the changes. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of blend, especially in some other areas. I bet out east it's not quite as dramatic, but here it's like, oh yeah, we have changed into Utah. So not too much more to say other than we're gonna blaze it up. We're gonna open this thing up into some of these desert roads. The one thing I will say is I'm taking one detour on today's route, and that is to go through Monument Valley here. Not specifically the park, but at least the road right outside of it. It's the Forrest Gump road, if you're familiar with that scene where he's running down the super long desert road here in Utah with the monuments around him. That's given me about a half-hour detour, but I went back and forth on it, decided it was worth it. We're right here. Let's see it, you know? And then after that, it's freeways and getting home. Temp's already up to 85, and I am already feeling the heat, so not looking forward to later today. However, I did soak my neck guard in the sink at the gas station back there, and that has made a nice difference. My legs are still warm, but my upper body is cooler. So, I think it's time to lock in. Let's go. Here it is, the Forrest Gump view, I suppose, best way to put it. It is kind of, it is really cool actually. Look at that. Huh. Should I do a photo? Yeah, why not? No one needs to. Who cares? I've been here. I know it. You guys know it. That's really cool. Look at all those colors. Green, brown, orange, red. Huh. You join me as I look down and do the bike's thermometer at 121 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes, uncomfortable. Now, unfortunately, the way my fuel had come out, as well as my water supply, I had to stop in Nettles, California, right after the Arizona border, and top up with fuel and top up with water. I'd actually gone through all 3 liters of my water supply by about 1 p.m. or so, 1:30. So the last 45 minutes or so of that ride, that section, I didn't have any more water. So that wasn't good. I was clearly starting to get dehydrated and dealing with heat issues as I got into the fuel station. So I stayed in there for about half an hour, put back 2 bottles of electrolyte drink, had some potato chips, and refilled my water, refilled the bike. Now the goal is to get to Orange County, where it's actually still apparently decently warm, but we're talking mid-80s, not 121. The bike is a trooper so far, as it has been with every scenario. I did see the coolant temps get up to steady state 200, which is quite a bit higher than the 171 that we were running yesterday in this mixed riding. This is going to be an interesting climb here because it's still 119 degrees and we're going to have to go up in elevation. So I'm going to keep an eye on the temp of the bike, but I really don't want to slow down very much. 1, because I want to get home, but 2, because I want to keep air flowing over me as much as possible. Every time I slow down even to about 70 here, just feel the heat. I'm kind of just hoping that California Highway Patrol isn't doing any traffic stops right now because it would be so prohibitively hot. Woo, 117, there we go, cooling off, and we have some shade. Wow, feels amazing. If it weren't for the heat and my fuel, I would probably go even quicker in this section, especially coming up here. This a stretch of I-40 through California between Nettles and Barstow is so remote, and you can just really cook. But I think for the sake of my safety and security and the bike's safety and security, probably just sit about 100. Now again, those of you who ride and have done big miles, you know how you can tell the difference in just a few degrees change. There have been times throughout the ride where I have felt a temperature change in my body and said to myself, I bet you the bike's thermometer is going to change here in a sec, and within about 10-15 seconds it does. And believe it or not, that is the case here, even from this change from 121 to 115. I know I kind of joked, but it does feel just that little bit less oppressive. And if we could get down to about 110 or so at the top of this hill, oh, and we went back up, didn't we? But if we could get down to 110 or so, it would make a difference, believe it or not. Some people like to say, yeah, anything over 110 all feels about the same. Yeah, maybe when you're in the air conditioning, but when you're out in it right here, you feel the difference. That is a cop. Please don't pull me over. Please don't pull me over. here we are, cleaned up, recharged, refueled, 83 degrees on the thermometer here the next day in Orange County. What a fantastic experience. And there really aren't too many motorcycles I can think of that I could have done it and done it as comfortably, competently, quickly, and safely as this R1300GS. Between the 7.9 gallon fuel tank, making it so I could stretch in between gas stations, I could go further distances at higher speeds, and I could off-road confidently without even having to think about stopping and grabbing some fuel, or all of the different active safety functionalities keeping me nice and upright and protected, and if I were to have had an accident, well taken care of with the automated SOS assist and everything. The added comfort of the GS seats, the crash bars if I were to have dumped it off-road, the adaptive cruise control allowing me to take off gloves and move things around inside my helmet and on my person, the windscreen going up and going down so that I could be nice and covered and comfortable in the rain, and lower it down to get some extra airflow in the heat. I mean, it all comes together for such a versatile package, and it almost seems like a cop-out word, but it's not even a jack of all trades sort of bike. It's a king of all trades. I mean, it really does do everything so well. And now I have the experience to actually say that. I can say I've ridden it in the rain. I can say I've ridden it in the cold, in the heat, high speeds, low speeds, off-road, on-road, and doing it all in such a condensed period of time where any little nitpicks of this bike would really have become exacerbated. Very, very few. The only aspect that I wish were different here on the R1300GS is, I hate to say it, but I'm just not a fan of the Boxer Twin. I'm sorry, this, to me, doesn't sound great, it doesn't feel great, and even when you're cruising at 70 miles per hour and you got the wind going and other cars around you and everything, you still hear that from that engine. It just feels like I'm on an old airplane or something. But I understand that is the essence of the BMW GS, especially the big boy GS here, so I'm not going to say BMW should change it. I'm just letting you know that's one of the very few things that would keep me from purchasing this motorcycle if I were in the class. It's the only thing I would consider about going to another brand, is getting an engine that's either a little bit more exciting or a little bit more docile and calms down when cruising at speed. But the tractorability of this motor and how smooth and competent it is down low, that grunt that we saw off-road, I mean, that just goes to show between that and the kind of spread out low weight of this engine, and just really adds to the versatility. Now our numbers are slightly skewed now because I have already ridden this bike around a little bit here today, doing some other filming, but we were well over 80 miles per hour for our average speed across the entire trip. Actually, we might have been in the high 70s for the total trip. Yesterday, the main ride day there, we were well over 80. I think I got up to 88 at some point, which kind of tells you how we had the cruise set at a lot of the day. Over 16 hours of riding time in the seat, and then 1,100 miles. It's a lot. It really is. But I was wrapping up the day yesterday, and aside from the heat, I totally could have done more. I was enjoying my time on the bike, and I was a little bit sad that it was going to be the end of it. And then also impressive, about 35 miles per gallon, even running this bike hard and hot, high speeds, off-road, everything. I mean, that is a big advantage of using a motorcycle as opposed to a car. You get to save quite a bit of money at the pump. I mean, the only other car I could think of that would even be close to this is something like a Ford Raptor or a Mercedes G-Wagon, a G-Class, G63, in terms of the capability and performance both on-road and off. And you're going to be spending a lot more on fuel with either of those. So, a year ago, after I tested the new R1300GS, I said I needed to spend more time on this motorcycle and really get to learn all of the engineering, all the care and thought and passion put into this bike. And this was the trip to feel that and to experience that and to really use it. So big thanks to BMW for not only letting me use this bike, but for building it in the first place, for making it lighter and more capable than ever before. Thanks to you all for watching, because without you, I wouldn't have an excuse to go take 2 business days and do that sort of ride. Thanks to anybody else. Thanks to God for putting me here to get to experience something like that. That was really cool. If you are ever so inclined to go out and do a trip like that, I highly recommend it. Despite the discomfort, despite the difficulties, that will be one to remember. And this will be a bike to remember. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the R1300GS, check the link below and see how nice and dirty we got it throughout all of those different riding situations. Tires did great, engine did great, bags did great. I would tell you more complaints if I had them, but I just don't. This is a fantastic touring and adventure sort of bike through and through. If you want to see more on the bike, check the link below for our DM rider test, where we talk about more how it is to use this in a daily riding sort of scenario rather than doing 1,000 miles across the western half of the United States. And we will see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from DM Moto, and as always, ride on.